Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at the life, the incredible career, and the honestly massive legacy of a true cinematic icon, Sam Neill. Now, as you've probably heard through the recent breaking news, the beloved actor passed away suddenly on July 13th, 2026. He was 78 years old. It's a tremendous loss that has sent shockwaves across the globe, from Hollywood all the way to his home in Sydney. We're going to break down exactly how this remarkable man built a career spanning over 5 decades, exploring both the heights of his global blockbuster fame and the quiet, grounded life he built off-screen. Following his passing, the Neill family released a statement that carries some profound emotional weight. They confirmed that his death was, quote, sudden and unexpected, but blessed by the fact that Sam remained cancer-free. As we'll get into a bit later in this explainer, Sam had been engaged in a highly publicized, incredibly brave battle with a rare blood cancer since 2022. The fact that he actually successfully beat the disease, that he was in remission at the time of his sudden passing, adds a deeply poignant layer to his final chapter. It completely changes how we view his last few years, not as a surrender, but as an absolute triumph.
So over the next few minutes, we're going to trace that triumphant journey. We'll look at his unique origins, his explosive run of 80s and 90s blockbuster hits, his unexpected passion for a deeply unprofitable winery, and the fascinating medical science behind his final health battle. If you find value in these deep dives and want to support the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explainers just like this one. It really helps us bring these stories to you here in the US and all around the world. All right, let's get into it. Chapter 1, From Omagh to New Zealand. To really understand the man, we got to look at his roots. Born to a military family in Omagh, Northern Ireland, back in 1947, he actually wasn't born Sam at all. His given name was Nigel John Dermot Neill. His mom, Priscilla, was English, and his dad, Dermot, was a New Zealander serving as an officer in the Royal Irish Fusiliers. But when his family moved to New Zealand in the 1950s, he quickly realized Nigel just wasn't going to cut it. It was a little too effete for a rough-and-tumble playground, you know? So at age 12, he simply started calling himself Sam. He even joked later on, imagine being a movie actor called Nigel Neill. Because of that unique geographic upbringing, born in Ireland, moving to Christchurch in 1954, and eventually finding his major acting breakthrough in 1977's Sleeping Dogs, he actually held 3 documented passports: New Zealand, Irish, and British. He was a true citizen of the world long before he became an international leading man. Section 2. An international star is born.
That's international stardom was far from guaranteed, though. After spectacularly failing his first year of law school, he pivoted to acting. He was surviving on leftover kitchen food and making just $35 a week at a local theater in Wellington. But man, that genuine grit paid off. Following his breakthrough in Sleeping Dogs, which, by the way, was the first local film widely screened overseas, he just catapulted into this hugely prolific run. He was the romantic lead in Australia's My Brilliant Career. He played the literal son of the devil in Omen 3. He starred in the intense cult horror Possession, and right opposite Meryl Streep in A Cry in the Dark. He was rapidly transforming into one of the most versatile leading men of his generation.
Chapter 3. The 1993 Milestone. This single year perfectly encapsulates his unbelievable range. On one hand, you have Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park. Neill stepped into the role of Dr. Alan Grant, a role originally offered to Harrison Ford, actually, and anchored what became a colossal, terrifying global blockbuster. He gave us the ultimate, pragmatic, dinosaur-hunting hero. But in that exact same year, he starred in Jane Campion's The Piano. Here, he played Alastair Stewart, a chilling, complex, and deeply unsettling colonial settler in a prestige art house drama that went on to win the Palme d'Or at Cannes. The whiplash between those two performances is just astonishing. I gotta ask you all, right now, if Dr. Alan Grant made your childhood awesome or if his incredible dramatic work left you speechless, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell us which Sam Neill role is your absolute favorite. And while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an explainer. 4. Television and later roles. Neill was never confined to just one medium. His versatility extended right into our living rooms. He was nominated for a Golden Globe for the 1983 miniseries O'Reilly Ace of Spies. He played the legendary wizard in Merlin, popped up in The Tudors, and of course, delivered an absolute masterclass in villainy as the ruthless Major Chester Campbell in the hit BBC series Peaky Blinders. What's fascinating about his Peaky Blinders role is that he was playing a Belfast police chief. Neill actually had to enlist the help of his friends Liam Neeson and James Nesbitt to completely relearn his childhood Northern Irish accent because it had been, in his words, well beaten out of him by his New Zealand classmates decades prior. 5. Wine, farm, and humor.
Away from the Hollywood glare, Neill lived in the Central Otago wine region of New Zealand's South Island, where he founded the Two Paddocks winery. But he had zero illusions about the glamour of owning a vineyard. He famously joked, quote, "I'd like the vineyard to support me, but I'm afraid it is the other way around. It is a ridiculously time and money-consuming business. I would not do it if it was not so satisfying and fun, and it gets me pissed once in a while." This just beautifully captures his down-to-earth, self-deprecating nature. He loved the simple farm life far more than the red carpets.
And that down-to-earth nature extended to a truly spectacular sense of humor on his farm. He used to delight fans on social media by naming his animals after his famous Hollywood friends and colleagues. Seriously, he had a chicken named Laura Dern, a pig named Taika after Taika Waititi, and even a duck named Kylie Minogue. It was just a wonderful, pure reflection of his personality. Chapter 6, A Brave Final Battle.
In 2022, while he was on the press tour for Jurassic World Dominion, what seemed like a small symptom, swollen glands in his neck, led to a devastating diagnosis, angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma, or AITL. This is a rare, highly aggressive subtype of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. What makes it so insidious is that it develops directly in the immune system's T cells, the very cells that are supposed to fight off disease. Neill began standard chemotherapy, but after a time that treatment simply stopped working. Faced with a failing treatment, he and his doctors turned to the absolute cutting edge of medical science.
He underwent CAR T-cell therapy through a clinical trial. It's practically science fiction made real. They literally collect the patient's own T-cells, genetically modify them in a lab so they are programmed to hunt and recognize cancer, multiply those modified cells by the millions, and then infuse them back into the patient's bloodstream. It's often described as a living drug. And incredibly, this groundbreaking treatment worked. It successfully pushed Neill's aggressive cancer right into remission. Which brings us to the tragic irony and the sudden loss that the world felt on July 13th, 2026. Despite beating this ferocious blood cancer, Sam Neill passed away suddenly and unexpectedly at the age of 78. He departed surrounded by family, leaving behind 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and an absolute mountain of cinematic legacy that is going to outlive us all. During his health battle, when he was unable to act, he sat down and wrote a memoir titled, "Did I Ever Tell You This?" When speaking about the book and his diagnosis, he delivered this incredibly powerful line. "The last thing I want is for people to obsess about the cancer thing, because I'm not really interested in cancer. I'm not really interested in anything other than living." And live he did. He poured every single ounce of passion into his work, his family, his friends, and his beloved farm. From a boy named Nigel in New Zealand, to a terrifying colonial villain, to the man who made us all believe dinosaurs walked the earth again, Sam Neill's range was truly limitless. He was a master of his craft and a total gentleman off the screen. I really hope this explainer gave you a deeper understanding of his remarkable life, because it leaves us with one final thought. In a world obsessed with leaving behind a legacy, did Sam Neill's greatest role end up simply being a man who fiercely, unapologetically loved to live? Share this explainer with a fellow film lover, make sure you subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for learning with us. See you next time.